Okay. Hello everybody, welcome to Learn to Defend Cyber. My name is Joseph. Today we're going to be working on Try Hack Me's Advent of Cyber Day 14. So I've got the machines starting up right now. It's going to take a few moments, but we can pivot over to the browser view and see what we're working with today. It's going to be a little smaller right now because this is still spinning up. Once it's fully done, I will maximize our browser for us. But it looks like today we're working on certificate mismanagement. We can go ahead and read the backstory a little bit. It's the mayor said the glitch. He said it while sighing. The people of Wareville, their browser he's spying. That sounds like him, McSkitty said. Back to work then, while scratching their head. Quiet morning in town of Wareville, a wholesome town where cheer and tech come together. McSkitty is charged to protect the gift scheduler. The service elves use to schedule all the presents to be delivered in Wareville. She assigns Glitch to the case to make sure it's secure for gift day. In the meantime, Mayor Malware is working tirelessly, hoping to ruin Christmas and redirect presents to the wrong addresses, but also to make sure that Glitch is blamed for it. So, you know, as we've been following the story, we've seen that Glitch is getting blamed for everything when he's really just trying to fix everything. Okay, so what are the learning objectives? We've got, we're going to be talking about self-signed certificates, man-in-the-middle attacks, and how we can use burp to proxy to intercept traffic. Go ahead and allow that, and hit this double arrow button, get in our browser, collapse this so we can see better. So let's talk about a little bit about certificates. Now, if you've ever taken the Security Plus, then you've heard the term certificate authority, certificates before. If you have not taken it, we can talk about it like this, right? So the way HTTPS works is certificate authorities like Let's Encrypt or other third-party trusted certificate authorities will get the encryption keys used to establish the session, and they'll verify that, hey, the device that you're connecting to at this domain is the real device, and I sign off on that. So you've got the certificate authorities, then you've got the actual certificate of the machine, and then then there's other layers to it as well, but for sake of brevity, that's really the two we need to talk about. Now, the way certificates work is that a certificate has the public key, right? So when you do asymmetric encryption, you get two keys, a public and a private key. The public key is pretty much shown to the world. It's like, hey, this is not changed. This is legit. I can take everything that you use my public key for and undo it with my private key. So the way that works is if you have a public key, you would be able to use it to encrypt something, and then only the person who has the private key can unencrypt that, right? Now, you can do it the other way around, where you use the private key and unencrypt the public key. You would only really do that for verifying that the sender is who they say they are. So, for instance, if I had a digital signature, I would encrypt it with my private key and then give you my public key, and if I sent you a message, you would be able to unencrypt it with my public key to verify that it has not changed. That's essentially how that works. It's a very complicated process. Well, it's complicated in the sense that it has a lot more to it than that. But definitely check out symmetric and asymmetric encryption if this isn't making sense to you. There are plenty of great resources on YouTube for that. But for sake of the challenge today, we don't have to understand all of that. We just kind of have to understand how they're used for web services, right? How's it going, Rhonda and Jose? Welcome. Thank you for showing up. I know it's noon on a Saturday. Not a lot of people like to study on the weekend. So we've got this term called metadata as well. Along with the key, it includes its metadata that provides additional information about the certificate holder and the certificate. You can so that's essentially information about the CA and the website, such as its domain name, the unique identifiable number, how long it's valid for. So if a certificate was issued in January and it expires the next January, then it has a validity period of a year. Who signed it, and the hashing algorithm used to sign it. So we talked about the CA. You got Global Sign, Let's Encrypt, and DigiCert. Those are probably the three most common. I think GoDaddy has their own as well. There's quite a few vendors who are trusted third-party certificate authorities. These browsers trust these entities by default to perform a series of checks to ensure it's a trusted CA. You've got the handshake, where this is kind of breaking down what happens in the browser when you establish connection when you're visiting a website, right? Your browser requests a secret connection. Instead of using HTTP, it's trying to use HTTPS. The website responds by sending it a certificate that has the public key and the metadata. Okay? Your browser checks the certificate to make sure that, hey, this is a trusted CA, this is in fact DigiCert, this is in fact Let's Encrypt, etc., and make sure it's not expired or that it hasn't been changed. And if everything checks out, the browser gives the green light, you make the connection. Boom. Okay? Key exchange happens. The browser uses the public key to encrypt a session. So we have that public key in that cert, okay? And we encrypt our traffic with it. Now, only the person who has the private key, the server in this instance, who has the private key, can unencrypt that traffic, or should be able to unencrypt that traffic. Okay. The decryption happens after we encrypt our traffic. The website uses its private key to decrypt the session, which is symmetric. Now both browser and website share a secret key, and you have a secure pipe that you're sending your traffic through. Okay. Now there's two different kinds of certs. You have trusted CA certs and self-signed certs. When you're running fast and loose, or you're doing something that doesn't need to be verified by Let's Encrypt or someone like that, because that does cost money, you can sign your own certs. So if you're using it in your own organization and it's never going to go anywhere, you can set up a CA and you can set up your own certifications, and you go and you do the same process that basically the third-party CA would do. It's just not trusted on a global scale. You can use it to verify internal email, you can verify internal applications. There's a lot of things you can do with certificates, but a self-signed cert does exactly what it sounds like it does. It is a cert that you sign yourself instead of a third-party trusted CA signing it. So we spun up our machine already, and we're going to step into the shoes of Mare Malware to ruin Gift Day. Jose says he's learning about keys and Security Plus. It can be a pretty confusing topic. It's harder to understand by just explaining it. If you are able to visualize it or have a visual breakdown of how it works, it's much easier. Rhonda just finished the room, figured she would join. Awesome, thank you for joining. I hope it's fun. Brendan Maverick, what's going on? Welcome back. Alright, so we've got the machine spun up. We have to go ahead and add this domain name to our host file. Our host file is basically our local DNS, so this is not a domain that is recognized on a global scale. It's not on a global DNS server. It's not on a server that we have set up. We're just adding it to our own device. So we can use this command right here, echo, which makes text happen. That's the simplest way to break it down. The IP address associated with the domain name, and then you use these two arrows to pipe this output to the host file. So let's go ahead and do that. Close this terminal. We'll bring up a new one, and we'll blow it up a little bit. And we'll paste that command in there. Boom. Now, it doesn't look like anything happens, but if we actually cat out that file, cat is how you can display the contents of a file. You just type this out. Oh, I mistyped hosts. Boom. You can see that it was in fact added. We have giftscheduler.thm that is now associated with this IP address. Now, I know they want us to use burp, so I'll go ahead and get burp spun up. And we can continue reading through. See them verifying that they got the IP address spun up there as well. So, Mirror malware can navigate to the gift scheduler website without leaving a trace on the DNS logs. Let's open Firefox and navigate to the gift scheduler THM. We'll actually, we'll just use the built-in burp browser. Unless, well, you know what, we'll do what they say and do Firefox. So the thing with self-signed certs is because your browser doesn't trust self-signed certs, you're gonna get those warnings, right? You know, when you try to connect to these websites, it's gonna be like, hey, we don't know who this is. Do you trust this connection? I'm sure you've probably seen this before if you were navigating to a site that doesn't maybe have HTTPS going on, or if it's using a self-signed cert, it gives you a big red flag. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You should go back. See, this is the recommended action, and they actually, you can click here, and then you can view the certificate that's used. It brings it up in another one. We can see that it's from THM. The common name of the domain is giftscheduler.thm. That's the domain, or that's the email address associated with it. You can see which country this was issued in. The validity of it, so it's not valid before the 19th of November, and it's not valid after the 14th of November of 2044. Quite a bit of length on that. We can see what algorithm they used, the RSA algorithm, some different serial numbers. You've got the fingerprint, so this is your actual hash. ADCA blah blah blah, and then you have your SHA-1 hash, which is just a shorter, same algorithm, shorter byte length. And then you've got your key IDs. So this just gives you all the information that we were talking about earlier. That's considered some of that metadata, right? I created a mind map for these when I was studying for Sex Plus, says Rhonda. That's a great idea. Mind maps are always very, very useful. Jose says he thinks he gets it. Yeah, I mean, once you get it, you get it. It's just one of those things that's it's tough to, it's a lot like subnetting. At first you're like, what? How does this work? And then you get it, and you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. So let's click on the advanced button. We read this, we're like, hey, we trust this, boom. Accept the risk and continue. Okay. So we're here, and we have Mirror malware's login right here. We hit start. Does this ask us for our login? Yes, it does. We have our creds. Boom. Paste that, and paste this, and log in. But it looks like we don't have any kind of perms other than gift requests. And that's not good enough for Mirror malware. With his credentials, he can't do anything but send a gift request. As if he were ever, as if he would ever do such a sickeningly sweet gesture as being nice to somebody. It's just hard to believe. To carry out his evil plan, he will need to sniff some admin credentials. Maybe one of the elves' passwords. Or, if he even gets lucky, Marta Mayware's. To sniff the traffic, the next step is to start a proxy on his machine and route all of Wareville's traffic to it. That way we can perform a man-in-the-middle attack, or adversary-in-the-middle attack, as it is called now, or an on-path attack, depending on who you're talking to. They're all the same thing. We're going to route all of the traffic that's meant to go to this site to us. Or actually, it says that we're routing all of the traffic in Wareville to us. So we'll go ahead and... We already have burp spun up. I probably can close that. I mean, I can just spin it back up if needed. We'll click through like we have been the other days. Those are just for temporary projects. What's going on, FedEx? Welcome. And we can talk about what we're doing here. We're gonna have to go into the proxy settings. We can turn intercept off and just go through the HTTP history. And then once this goes into the proxy settings and add a proxy listener, it looks like, and we will be adding the IP address of our machine so that all of the traffic is proxied to us. Okay, we don't care about the new settings. Let's go to proxy, turn that off, go to the proxy settings if I don't misclick. Alright, and add a listener. Bind to port 8080 because that is the port that we are using by default. And add our IP address in it. They give it to us. This is dynamically assigned every time you start up a new box on TryHackMe. They're going to give you a different IP address, so yours will not match mine. You can find it right there in that block, or at the top. They give it to you as well. Maybe not. Yes, they do. No, that's the target IP address. They give you the IP address in a couple different spots. I think they might give you it actually in the browser. Yes, attack box IP. So I think when I have that split view, it shows it here now. The 10.10.229.18. Okay, so let's go back down and get this traffic going to us. Use the specific address, our address. We want it to use us. Hit OK. Okay. Let's see what we have to do. Each installation of Burp generates its own CA certificate, so we have a self-signed certificate that we can throw in there. Visitors to this website are seeing this warning. They've probably been told, hey, whatever, just disregard the warning, click through to the website, everything's fine. Now we're going to start sniffing traffic. We can add another line to our Etsy host file. So we're going to add our IP address to Wareville GW. We'll go ahead and copy that and paste it. We still have our terminal up from earlier. Boom. Make sure it's still there. Okay, we got it. That's Wareville-GW. Okay, this will divert all of Wareville's traffic, usually routed through a legitimate Wareville gateway, to malware's machine, effectively putting them in the middle of the requests. In practice, the adversary can launch a similar attack if they can control the user's gateway. Their attack can easily succeed against the websites not using properly signed certificates. So if you were on like a rogue, you know, we talked about these the other day, a rogue AP of some sort, and they can control the gateway, then they can just proxy all the traffic. Okay. At the last step, we must use a custom script to simulate users' requests to the gift scheduler. Keep the script running so that new users' requests will constantly be captured in Burp Suite. So we've got our script here. Okay, so we'll copy this line by line. Boom, paste that in. And then we're going to execute this .shell we have. Boom. Try to paste that in, hit enter. Okay, goes through here, and we are intercepting our requests. At last, everything in place, malware, evil plan can finally commence. We can open Burp Suite and look at our HTTP history. We've got Burp Suite over here. We can just go over here and see packets are flowing. They should be flowing. Alright, we've got 4 requests so far. 5 requests. Yeah, we can see it's going 1 for 1. We got this one. It's lining up. So, because we are in the middle and we can see this traffic, we can go to these post requests and we can probably look at them and see some creds. Yep, admin and the password. I have password for the admin. So we'll copy this and we'll go back to that site we have. I'll have to grab the domain name for that again. What do they call it? giftscheduler.thm. So we'll type that in. Gift scheduler .thm. If I can type. Okay, and we got our password, so we'll go ahead and hit admin. Paste it in there. Boom. It said it's invalid. What? Did I copy too much on accident? Let me see if I have some white space in there. It could be white space at the front. Let me try copying this again. Copy that. Try this again. Oop. No, it's saying it's invalid for some reason. Let's see what's going on here. I've got the password, admin and password. Got it. I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, let me make sure I actually have it copied correctly. Yeah, that's the password we grabbed. Let's try a different set of creds. See if there's something else in here. Check the other posts. We got Marta Mayware. That's a probably sensitive account. We know that she's part of the SOC. Okay, we'll copy her password. And it's just Marta_Mayware. Paste that in there. Why? That's not what I copied. Sorry about that, y'all. Copy it. Paste it. There we go. We can cancel G-Day. And we got a flag right here. THM, how to ruin gift day. So we'll go ahead and copy that from our box. What is the name of the CA? It's just THM. So we found that earlier when we investigated the details. If you remember, we popped that certificate out to another tab and looked at the details in there. It wants to know, inside of the post request in the HTTP history, they want to know the password for the Snowball Elf account, but let's go ahead and actually use the credential. Okay, let's skip a step because I already logged into Marta Mayware's account. We'll go ahead and paste this in there. This is the one that we got from her account. And we can go back. Document expired. I'm probably going to have to close the connection, try again. They want a Snowball Elf account password. So let's go through the post request here. Oh, we got it right here. Carrot knows. We probably just sign in as them too. Get that other flag they're asking for. Okay, submit. It's not letting me submit for some reason. Come on. It's not even telling me it's wrong. Let me refresh the page. That's interesting. Is my stream still up? Yeah, it looks like everything's still going. Just running a little slow here. Sorry about that, y'all. Alright, go back down here. Oh, apparently it took it. Alright, so let's go log in as old Snowball Elf. And what was the domain for that again? Giftscheduler.thm. We know their username is Snowball Elf. And we'll paste that password in. Do I have the wrong thing copied? Okay, there we go. And we got the flag for that. So we'll go ahead and copy that. And paste it down in the flag section. And we'll go grab Marta's password again. We can go find that in our HTTP requests from earlier. Boom. It was this one. And this is her password. And with that, we will have finished the room. Alright. If we enjoyed that task, find the burp suite model. Yep. So basically, let's round out and review what we learned today. Chilling Spree, what's going on? Jose says the stream is good. Good. I'm glad. I don't know, I had like a little bit of an internet hiccup there, so no worries. So we'll review what we talked about today, right? We talked a little bit about certificate authorities. We talked about how asymmetric encryption happens, how an HTTPS session is established. And we looked at proxying traffic through burp to capture passwords using insecure protocols like HTTP. So next time you're on a network and you get a warning, it's like, hey, you're going somewhere where you're not using a secure format like HTTPS, a secure protocol that is, think twice about putting creds in. Someone may be listening. Someone may be trying to grab that password of yours. And that's why MFA is so important, right? Because if one of your end users goes to Starbucks and they're working and they just join the Starbucks Wi-Fi and someone grabs the creds and they punch them in and they are able to log on, well, that's no good. But if you have MFA there, they could put the creds in all day long until they find some way to get around that MFA. They are going to have some trouble. And there's plenty of ways to subvert MFA, so, it's not foolproof, but it's a layer of complexity, right? All right. Well, with that, y'all, thank you for tuning in. I will see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna get the stream scheduled ahead of time. I think we're gonna do it later in the day. I'm hoping to have it scheduled for 6. I don't know quite when I'm gonna be available, but Jerry does have the Difference Maker of the Year award thing happening, so I'm trying to line it up so that I won't be going while that's going, so that we can see whether or not Simply Cyber wins Podcast of the Year for the Difference Maker award. So I'll get it scheduled. You'll see it on the channel. Tentatively 6 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in, and see y'all tomorrow for day 15.